Let's do one Japanese. That'd be good. 1 week.
Evening, gentlemen.
Evening. How we doing?
Yeah, tired, but all good. Yes, thank you.
Excellent.
What have you been up?
Well, I came and saw you, not weekend just gone, the weekend before, and to come and have a lesson about how to make things for the 3D printer, which was very good and very helpful. Thank you very much.
Saw you made some stuff.
But I can't show any of it yet. It's all bit secret squirrel at the moment because I intend to release it as a product range, but it still needs some testing. I'm going to try and put Simon Hope to shame on. But
Evening, Simon.
Evening, Simon. Hi, Simon. Let's just quickly talk about what you produce and the quality in a workshop no bigger than the back of a transit van.
I did tell you it was pretty small.
That's tiny. I genuinely, I could almost stretch my arms out and go inside of his workshop.
Yeah, you could.
And how you fit between your workshop, in your lathe and your workbench. Your camera work is top notch because you make the whole place seem huge with the different camera angles.
Not being rude or not, I don't want to drop the level, but maybe he's used to making things look bigger than they actually are. Maybe stems from other areas. So let's go back a step then. So is it a single garage wheel, or what is the basis of the workshop?
A single garage that fits a Mini, like a 1950s
not even a
Mini.
single garage. So it's an extension to what was a kitchen that got extended by half a garage.
Oh,
There's no way I could get my car in there. That's for bloody certain.
smart car, Matchbox.
Yeah.
Fiat 500 I turned up at his inn. It genuinely is small. He's got the same lathe, I think, as you have, Gary. So you know how big that is. And then the workbench wasn't quite pushed up against the wall. So no wonder he was asking about clever solutions to where to put tools and things. And it wouldn't be quite so bad if his missus's workbench wasn't full. There wasn't a chest freezer out there as well. And a huge chest of his old man's, or was it your granddad's?
Yeah, that was his granddad's.
Really big chest that was made for him. But then there's little things like his airline setup for the pressure tank and the vacuum chamber. That's like pucker. Goes over the top, and the compressor he's got is really quiet.
That's because I work for a company that do a lot of pneumatics. That's why.
You nicked it all from work, is what you're saying.
Yeah, of course I have. Yeah.
But his directions to resin coming out the door. It's covered. His lawn is covered in resin.
Just look for the strands of resin. You can't miss me.
His neighbours must for God's sake, wheels turning again. There's clouds of resin coming out the garage door. But the stuff you produce, it's just... I've seen, obviously, a lot of your pieces in person now. When I was there, I had a look because of his display cabinet and whatever else. They are absolutely phenomenal and all done in a shoebox. Oh, I'd hate to think what you'd produce in a big proper workshop.
I'm glad that you mentioned that it looks much bigger on film because I spend quite a lot of time ducking and diving trying to get out of the way of the camera.
You were saying the other week, and Mark just referred to it there, about you coming up with ideas for saving space. I just heard some ideal things that you can make some space. Your missus' workbench, bosh, gone. The chest, bosh, gone. It sounds like they're doing that with double the space you got.
So, I do actually use that workbench as well. In fact, half of it is my stuff under it. It's got all my resin cups underneath it and glue sticks and hot guns.
And there was a huge contrast in Will's place. So we walked from this shoebox into this absolutely lovely kitchen, fully decked out modern kitchen with ceramic tiles and all the rest of it. And you think he traipses God knows what out of that workshop. It's a completely attached, built to the house workshop. Yeah. So unlike mine, where you and yours, Gary, where you've got a outdoor gap to sort of shake off whatever, it's straight into the kitchen. So you can just imagine his wife's cooking dinner and he just strands of resin come through.
Yeah, it gets everywhere, and the dust. The dog's the biggest culprit. The dog brings in more of it than I do.
Don't blame that lovely old dog of yours. Dobby is a good boy, that dog. He was so sweet, unlike mine, who's now barking his head off at the wife coming home.
I reckon if he has a proper run around here at the wrong time, Ning runs indoors, he'll look like he's got one. They do it in green resin. He's got one of those old ghillie suits on.
He might stand a chance of catching that cat across the road then.
Yeah.
No way. Well, that sounds like it was a good trip.
It was very informative, very helpful. He showed me a lot of really simple ways to produce what I need to produce.
That's all you need. It's just the basics, and then you're off. It's easy to model. Anyone can do it. It's not difficult. Oh, yeah, very nice.
I'll give you a little sneak, but it's not round yet because I haven't rendered it properly, but that's just something that's going to be going in a chuck. I won't show you the rest. Gary will see it first because I'll be bringing one up for Gary to test for me at Club this month. But it's very helpful and it was very useful. Thank you, Will.
Good.
So with that tiny weeny workshop of yours, have you managed to find space for a new pillar drill? Have you got a new pillar drill yet?
I bought one the other day. I've had it for about a week now.
Oh, nice.
And I was looking on the Axe. I don't know why I was looking on there, but I was looking on the Axminster website and they got, new. It's Axminster Pro bench mounted AP20BD. And I looked at it and I thought, I'll just have a look at the spec on that. And it's like 400 mil, 350 mil deep, whatever it was. And it's like, that's ideal. I thought, all right. So I bought it there and then. I told Doris that I had something coming the next day. And she sent a message at work, said, that drill you bought, how big is it? Come in a crate, a little low loader and a crate. Anyway, I put it up and it's actually, the footprint is smaller than the one I had because it's so tall, it goes over the back of the bench. And actually, it's a really nice drill, so I'm pretty happy with my choice, I'm not going to lie.
I'm just looking at it now. It's got the same, an Axminster, an old trade one. It's very similar, actually. It's got the same sort of wind-up bench on the ratchet or platform. Even the handle is so sturdy, isn't it? Like three-spoke handle. Not like the one I had before. It's almost like pipe cleaners with little balls on the end and it's just coming off as you're trying to rotate it around and whatever. But it is very nice.
So it was the bench-mounted one rather than a floor one you went for.
I got the bench-mounted. And like I say, it doesn't really take any more space up than that little tiny thing I had. So, in fact, it's probably more space-saving because like the plate is raised quite up in the air. It's huge. It's like the top of it is like, it's over 2 metres to the top.
Off your workbench.
Nice.
And, so, I know, it's good.
It's one of those things, you don't use it every day or every time you're in there, but when you do, when they're sturdy, it's sort of like the sort of thing where you appreciate every time you use it, don't you? I'm glad I got that sort of better quality, especially when you've had a shit one before.
The other thing I find with these bench drills, the pillar drills, you don't have to have the foot in the direction, so you can rotate. So my one in the workshop sits behind the side wings for my mitre saw. But to get it to fit, I had to rotate the foot 90 degrees and then screw it down. So the plate hangs over the top of where you put everything to cut on a mitre saw. But that doesn't interfere with anything. No. And I built a bigger platform for mine because I find that you may not have the issue when you're just drilling into the bottom, but I find pillar drills are meant for machinists rather than woodworkers. And the bottom plate isn't always big enough for what. So when I'm doing chopping boards and things and I want to put me tag in a chopping board and you've got this 2 foot by 18 inch chopping board, that tiny little plate that they give you just isn't secure enough. But no, I like the look at that. I am in the market for a new one.
I'm very happy with it, I must admit.
It's good. I actually got a new purchase the other day. I'd seen these before. It was a light, and Axminster do it called Glow Force.
I used to sell them.
So they do one. If you go on Axminster, the head's like magnetic, and it's almost like a ball, but it's magnetic. And the basic one on Axminster has a stand and one of those gooseneck, bendy, flexible stand for it.
All right.
And so I was looking at them. And so it's good because from the point of view, you've got the little round disc, which the base is just like metal, and then you get the little disc, which is magnetic, and then you get the gooseneck thing. And it's chargeable. So it can work. You can plug it in off mains and use it, but you can just charge it as well. But then when I started digging around, as I did, I went down the Glow Force wormhole. And ultimately, if you go to their site, they do all of these add-ons for it. Extending goosenecks, brackets to hold tablets, phones, cameras, all that sort of stuff, different adapters, other size magnets, different clamps, And it was like you could buy it, then they do it in these kits. So it's like, oh, you could buy the basic one, or you can buy kit A, which you get this, and you get one of these kits with these little bundle stuff, or you get this bundle of stuff on. And then I was like, oh, that looks good. Oh, it'd be good to have one of those little bits as well. And then you look, and then there's one that's called like a full kit. And the full kit, you get 4 goosenecks. You get they've got even little magnifying screen things, so you can split off the goosenecks and have a magnifier and the light. And oh my God, it's so good. It is really good. I've sort of used it. I've used it for sort of filming as well as just holding the light. I've just been using the camera holder or the phone holder, and just sort of, it's a decent height because I've got a little tripod. So if I'm putting stuff on the floor, I've just got this little tripod really, or I have to get my big one and then it's almost too high.
Yep.
Whereas this one, and I haven't sort of got around to it yet, but I think it will give me the options to have better angles when I'm filming on a lathe, because I'll be able to go in between heights that I do at the moment because I've got the gooseneck and whatever.
Can you control the brightness of it?
Yes.
I think it's got different sort of strengths, or it's definitely got different patterns. Not that you'd use a flashing thing or something like that, but
not for lathe.
I think it's got different strengths. I think it has, but
they normally are
so good.
The Glowforge ones, they're very good. And they're a funky shape as well. The Glowforce, sorry, had it up on screen when I said that. I used to sell them when I worked for Tool Line. They're fantastic. They're a little bit on the pricier side, but they are brilliant.
Yeah, 75 quid, isn't it?
But they had wood turners in mind when they were designing them, as well as for engine bays and things. But they are brilliant bits of kit. They're just a bit on the...
You go on their site, and obviously not Axminster, and then it's got the whole thing about the modular aspect to it and all that, and you see all the different bits and bobs, and it's very sort of well made as well.
They're very good.
I'm looking at it now. It's brilliant.
It'd be ideal to replace that little one, that one you have underneath the tailstock of your lathe. Oh. So I've also shopped with Axminster this week. I had a bit of spending money for my birthday, and I got myself... Do you remember when I was at Simon Hope? So he had a new live centre, the new tail, which had the cups and things and the different interchangeable. Well,
the thing Darren Breeze said needs some more work.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I went for the Axminster one in the end. By Will. Went for the Axminster one. For our listeners, Will has just walked off. I was looking at something else.
What one? The kit. What one did you go for on there?
Hang on, I'll just bring it up on screen. There we go. So I went for the full kit in the end, which has got that one. So it's got the 6 different centres, that are all swappable. It's a brilliant bit of kit. It really is good.
I think I've got that in a drawer because I recognise the comb bit.
But what I do is really good.
I'm going to have a look in my drawer later. I think I've got that because I only say it because I've been looking at something recently, and I got one of those Paul Howard upchucks. I made something to slot over the end of that with an O-ring in it to hold it, and then I was looking for something with a narrower swing on it, and seeing that there, thinking, oh, that'd be good for me. And then I was suddenly looking at all those other little bits, the add-on. I went, hold on a minute, I think I might have that. I'll have a look later. Anyway, you find it good?
I've used the really thin point, which I will use most of the time for lace bobbins. But occasionally when you turn one end of them, they snap off of the tail. So it sort of splits the wood a little bit. So this cup is going to be perfect to carry on turning them, because it can grab it from the outside instead. And I've been using that one today for something else I've been turning. But I'm quite looking forward to using this, the one with the circle with the point in the middle. That looks a lot more secure for doing big spindles when I do my handles and things like that.
Because that's just like that bit there. It's just like a ring center. If you look up on there, they'll have a live center, which I think they call it a ring center. And I've used that in the main. That is just literally got a point with a ring to sort of spread the load, if you like.
They look a lot better.
I did get it from there. I've got that one there, and that's what I use the most, to be honest.
I've been looking for something like that for a while, and now I've got it. I'm a little bit annoyed I didn't buy it a lot sooner. You think I've been doing this 5 years, and it's one of those.
But you found it now. I've had it in 10 years.
I think
I'm not sure I'm going to use that one.
Me 70 quid, because I've been looking at them as well. I must have been thinking, do I really need this?
I'm not sure I'll ever use that one. The one almost looks like a
faceplate, almost
faceplate, and it is absolutely tiny. It's about an inch in diameter. That one. But if you've got something a little bit unstable, a little bit unsure, that would be very good. But it's well worth the money. I must admit, I've been very happy with that.
It looks a good price for all that, doesn't it?
It is a good price when you consider that Simon's one is well over 100 quid.
68 quid, folks, if anyone's listening.
Sorry. Axminster are currently out of stock of them.
It's called the Axminster Multi-Head Live Revolving Centre.
I probably just as well, because I was just about to hit the buy now button, but I can't.
Well, if they do it without all of the heads, they do it as a with 3 points. So you get the point with the ring around it, their ring centre, as well as 2 cones. And you can buy all the others separately. They list them all separately, and they're not expensive. So if you only
comes to 140,
if you buy them all, how much is that? 56. It probably works out about the same, actually.
It's probably just a little bit of saving, isn't there? Otherwise, they wouldn't.
Yeah, because the conical tip is £4.38. Big spender there.
I think that's a good value for that, though.
It is.
They could rip the shit out of that, to be fair.
I'm hoping they release Star Drive in for it as well. They've got called Star Drives, haven't they? They're really pointy.
The Simon Hope one, he called them Star Drives, didn't he?
Yeah.
But the Steb Centre,
that's the one.
Steb Centre is the one that, and it was because I looked last time, Sorby are the ones who refer to it as the Steb Centre, and no one else really does. So it's, and then Simon, come up with
Star Drive. Well, they do look a bit like a star, don't they? Because you've got his Star Drive Live Centre headstock one, haven't you? The one that fits in the chuck.
I use that every time. It is really good, actually.
I'm looking at that. I might get that from Darren because I've got one of Darren's vouchers.
That's where I got it. 20%, whatever it was.
Yeah. Always up for a saving whenever I can.
I've got my eye on a right-angled drill at the moment.
Ooh, a right-angled drill. Drill around corners.
An angled drill. I nearly hit the button earlier. When I went and visited David a long time ago, he had one. It was a DeWalt angle drill, and I really liked it.
What do you want it for?
When I share it, when you see it, you'll completely see why.
That is the one I'm looking at. DD 720.
So if you're doing a bowl or something, instead of trying to get...
Well, mate, I'm asking Will because he's the one who wants to buy it.
Inside the bowls and the outside the bowls, you can get in, get it to sand it.
Why can't you poke your other drill in there? I don't understand what that's giving you. That if you're actually you're tight for space, aren't you? Thinking about it, is that what it is? You can't be that tight for space behind it because you've got your late. Oh, your late head's got to be in there. You're not going in like that, mate.
Piccadilly Circus at one today.
I think it was just on the screen just then, Mark. You had it on there. There's a DeWalt, an adapter that goes in your normal drill that then turns it right angled. It's probably that sort of thing, about 10 quid or whatever it is.
Yep, there's one.
I've seen David use the right. I've seen others use the right angle drill as well. And I think I suppose it saves you trying to get all the way around. If you're doing like a vase or something that you do a fair amount of. Bowls, I don't think you'd actually use it, but vases, I think you would use a right angle drill a lot more.
Yeah.
Where did you nearly hit buy for the button on that then? Where was you looking?
I think I only looked on Amazon.
Oh, right.
I haven't got any further than that. I will scour. I'm going to come here.
Yeah, talking about buying things, this is a little bit off tangent, but I saw the other day, I think you've both used or are aware of those Joe Sonia paints. You've used them in the past. You see, old Tiny Turner's bought them out. Emma Turner.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Joe Sonia, like the person behind it, was retiring, and she's bought it out, and now they're called. She markets them under something and paints and pigments or something like that. It's called. I saw an email come through, and I just thought that Joe Sonia had released some new ones, and she was just plugging them. But then when I looked, it was like, and I think she'd actually said it in there anyway, that the woman's retired who done the Joe Sonia stuff, but they're still being flogged, and she's taking them on.
I saw the Tiny Turner glitters at Wheels the other day, and I thought they were a bigger packet, I must admit. No,
they're pretty tiny.
Just like she can't handle them.
I was thinking, you didn't.
Why not? No. They are very colour shifting type ones, whatever they're called. The changing them is like...
They are good.
So what have you been... Go on, sorry, Will.
It's actually a good segment to... Because my next project, I'm going to use that Perfect Pearl and Pigment one.
Oh, nice.
That's easy for you to say.
And I've got the mould is printing as I speak. It's nearly there. It's about 300 mil up in the air at the moment, but hasn't got much longer to go. No,
Are you going to do what you showed me from that YouTube chap?
No, I'm going
right.
to remake that because I just like it, but I'm going to make it a really expensive one with Mallee Pearl. And I'll tell you something about that Perfect Pearl and Pigments. So I went to use it for, I'm actually doing 2 projects, and I went to decorate the pearl for the first project, right? And it don't stick.
Oh.
It's not like the Tiny Turner stuff. It just doesn't stick to anything.
You had to
I
mix
put
it
it on,
with
it's like falling back off. But it's glue. So,
so it is a gluey. It's not just a mica powder.
No, it's a flake, but it's quite a fine flake, if you like. So is the Tiny Turner stuff. That's flake.
So are you having to mix it with some resin and do a
so I'm
light coat of resin?
I'm going to have to mix it, yeah. So that's why I'm doing that candle holder in like a chameleon.
Always wary of that with the flake type one. So when obviously you can even get different size bits of whatever it is, glitter or something, can't you? So that pearls and pigments, you buy a 0.1 or a 0.4 mil size and all that. And then you go to the flakes. I'm always conscious of it because the bigger the bit is, the more chance you've got of actually cutting through that and then having a little bit of it comes out. Then you've got to do the old filling it with resin and all that sort of stuff. So it's always the gamble with the flakes that you're going to hit a bigger piece or whatever, but they do look effective as well.
Was it Mark Rober that put the finest glitter in the world in a glitter bomb?
Oh, you sub to him, dude? Yeah.
He only releases a few videos a year. It's purely because he used to work on the Mars rover.
That's right.
He put the finest glitter. It's stupidly fine stuff just to catch out those porch pirates. But you can find some of that, see if that's any good. I think I mentioned to you when I was with you about the blackest black.
That's right.
And because you can get that in a powder. And the pinkest pink does do something different. So you've got one, you're going to redo your candlestick. What's the other project you're working on?
So I bought, actually, I think, did you see it? It might have been in the pressure pot, but I've got an oak bell. I bought some oak bell and I've decorated that like I would an egg round the rim. And I'm going to turn that, I have turned it into, like halfway through, turn it into a bowl. So resin on top of it with clear and decorated the base. That's why I was going to use the Perfect Pearl and Pigments, but it fell off. So I went back to Emma Turner stuff, and that was magic.
Oh, okay, nice.
So that's the only 2 I've got at the moment. We're talking about filling holes. Oh, the amount of holes I had to fill in the base of that, because it's like some tiny little stuff.
Oak bell can be quite holy, can't it?
Yeah, it's really holy. So I've spent a good couple of hours there with a bit of UV and a sanding disc, a sander, sorry.
Did you get your money's worth out of that big UV light you bought now?
Yeah, I have, yeah. That is magic. Definitely buy one. They're only cheap.
I did look at them, 25 quid, wasn't I? Look at that. I pressed a buy on that, actually, after you mentioned
that is a good purchase, that is for certain.
You thought anything more about that idea I gave you with the leftovers and just pouring resin into that tub of leftovers?
I have, it's on my list, but I haven't done it yet. I did wonder actually whether I should decorate all the pieces and then cast it in clear. Quite cool. And I thought, do I really want to go down? I need to stop doing clear projects because they drive me nuts. They show every tiny little blemish, and I keep promising like I'm going to stop doing like so many clear projects. But I get to the end, that's look really wicked. Let's do another one.
That's the thing, it does come out good, doesn't it?
Do you have to do a certain amount of resin projects a month for your sponsor?
No.
They're not. They don't have an expectation of 2 a month or whatever.
No, I said I would try and do more, which I have in all fairness, although the last month I haven't done much because it's been just so cold. But the weather's out now, so I'm back into it now. So the aim is to get at least one every 3 weeks, but if it goes to 4, then I'm not going to beat myself up too much. Got a full-time job.
Got to do the day job.
Have you been working on anything, Gary?
So I was just going to say, if you can remember, ages and ages ago, I bought that silica gel, and I know, Will, you then bought some after me and then done stuff and whatever, and I'd never got around to doing anything. And then I done a rose in there and had it down a workshop for ages. And I did actually do it in a bit of mulberry and some clear resin with some glitter in. And I just haven't got around to turning it, and it's been down there for donkeys. And the other day I thought I need to try and have a go on that. So I cracked it open out of the, I just used a bit of pipe or whatever to use as the casing. And I looked at the rose and I thought, it looks a bit sorry for itself in there. Maybe it's sort of like the dying rose would be the theme for it, or whatever. Anyway, so I finished it last night actually, and I don't know if you can see it, but the rose itself looks
I think
dog
I know
shit.
what you're going to say. Oh, that's all right.
It's a bit, but it's the glitter. I think this was Tiny Turner stuff. It's hard to see really, but it's very subtle. But it's just all the way through it, the glitter.
You can see it sparkling on the camera.
Exactly.
So
But rose is just like a dead rose.
I put glitter in a rose once, and it just landed. It just stayed on the rose and looked quite bad.
Oh,
so
did
that looks quite nice. That's come out quite. It's come out well.
One of
If the
your
rose
videos
was a nice
recently.
colour was good.
One of your videos recently, you were saying about testing glitter weight to see if it would sink to the bottom.
That come out really nice actually.
Testing glitter weight.
It was the title of one of his videos.
Oh, really?
It was.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
This is Pearls and Pigments.
Oh,
I like
really?
the blue.
I actually had it was on that thing where I think I bought the same colour, like teal colour, in 0.1 and a 0.4, and that's where I sort of think, I wonder how it'll get on. But so some of it sort of sunk down, but other parts of it sort of floated up quite nice. And the mad thing is, when you look at certain lights, it looks like very 90% blue, but then when you actually look through it, it's very clear, and you can actually just see the small bits in there. And it's come out really nice actually.
You do that with deep cast, or do you do that with normal?
I'd done it with just the normal German one I use, not the what is it? The long one. The one takes ages.
I think if you use the longer setting resin, it gives the glitter more time to sink. So you might find that if you use the longer setting resin, the glitter will sink to the bottom.
It would do. To be honest, I try and bloody use the quick one as much as I can.
I don't think I've ever had a problem with glitter sinking, to be honest. Laying on stuff, they're not sinking.
I suppose it depends on what it is or whatever. But I think I've done a purple one actually as well. Those are pigments. I just had a load of old table legs that I was chucking out and just chucked them in a bowl. And it was the first time I actually used my vacuum chamber. It's a mixed success actually. I think I'd done what you said around actually put all the colours in and that first, and I had 3 cups in there actually, and so I put them in and I whacked it up, and it had a nice vacuum on it, and it was right up to sort of, was it one bar, is it, or something? Yeah, -1, and you could see the bubbles coming up, but not like when I watch the videos. There's proper like bubbling, fully active, right? This was almost just sort of coming up, almost like when you're pouring Coke in a glass. They just come to the surface, right? And so they've all come into the surface, but they weren't really popping. And it's like, come on. And then I'd let the air back in, and then some of them would pop, and then it'd just go back down. It wasn't really rising right up. It was only sort of like going about 20 mil. And I did wonder whether it was so heavy with the actual mica powders in there that it was actually stopping it, letting the air come out of it, maybe. So I'm a tester, right? So I'm going to just next time I'll just do it and put the clear resin in there and see if it does the same thing, or if it's actually different.
Might have something to do with how vigorous you mix it, how much air you put into it whilst you're mixing it.
I put a lot of air into it, so a lot of air should come out of it.
Because you see, if you mix it by hand, you're not going to put as much in it. If you get one of the mixing paddles in with a drill, you'll get a lot more. You
can always see even when you're doing it by hand, when you're really doing it quick and whatever, you can really see it before you put the colours in. But you said to Will that you put it in and you let it build up, and then you don't sort of sit there and leave it 10 minutes, do you? You just sort of gradually let the air back in and then do
it. So if you leave it too long, you'll boil it. You'll get bubbles because you're boiling it. But so I let it come up, and then I let it settle and degas, and then I stop there. So probably
start for one.
Sorry, just do a one. As long as you got, the only time I ever let air in is if it's going to come over the side of the mould or something.
Oh, really? So I basically left it there for a couple of minutes, and then I let the air back in, and sort of like some of the bubbles went, and the rest of them dropped down, and then I basically built it back up again, and left it for 2 or 3 minutes. Done the same thing, and I've done that 3 times. I've done that.
If you leave it a bit longer, it's like pouring a beer. Another bad example, pouring a Coke. You get the bubble, the froth, the frothy bubbles come up, and then that settles back down. As soon as it's settled, that's it. That kill it there. And then if there's any bubbles after you let it out, just flame them off on the top. What I do.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'll have another go of it on my next one. But because the other thing is, because I've done it with all the purple in it, then I took it out of that actually, and then I put it into the mould.
Yeah.
I didn't put it in the vacuum chamber in the mould, and then put it in the pressure pot. And it was one of those ones where it right up to the brim. Even when you put it in the pressure pot, you're literally topping it up at that point, right up to the brim. And you think, I don't want to go. And then, 2 days later or whatever, you open it, and bloody things like sunk about an inch or whatever, where it's just gone into the wood and whatever. But it's like, it won't be such a high-sided bowl, end of.
Cool. Very nice.
So I assume you put the bits in the vacuum chamber to get the bubbles from really the core of the resin. That's the wrong sort of phrase, but out of the middle of the resin rather than just the surface stuff, is to really get it clear. Have you noticed a difference? Is it noticeable? Is it worth getting it? Does it make that much of a difference, vacuuming and pressuring?
Well, from my experience, I've only done half the job so far. I've still got to turn the first piece I've used with the vacuum on it, the purple thing. So I haven't actually turned it yet.
It depends on what you're doing. So if you're doing something like the pistachio bowl, then the vacuum chamber is phenomenal because you're taking the air pockets out of the pistachios. If you're just doing clear, then if it's deep cast, don't need it. I put it in there anyway because I've got one.
The other thing we said before, didn't we, about where I'd done Lego, and it's whether pull it out with a vacuum for the Lego because it can get trapped in there. And even though you're going to put it in a pressure pot, they're too big for the pressure pot to get rid of completely. So you will. I got that. I done my only a small Lego thing, but the Lego thing I done, I use a pressure pot for that, and I still had gaps in there and like holes. So that was where I should use the pressure pot. The vacuum chamber first.
Yeah, that would pull all that out. That's for certain.
So I'm going to do another Lego one at some point. So I will defo use it for that.
I was thinking about doing another Lego one.
I've still got that box of bloody, because I've done that Star Wars one, I shockingly enough went out and bought something that had 5 or 6 of those Lego things on it, Star Wars little models. And I thought, do you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to do it, put it in it, and then I'm going to turn it. So I turn 2/3 of the actual Lego thing away. So you're just seeing, say if it was on a tumbler, you turn the inside out, which would be sort of 2/3 of the actual Lego model that you've done as well. So then it would look like it's almost come apart, but it's all still in the resin. Just interested to see what it looked like. Or just go across it, or go anyway, but just actually go through the actual Lego that's been made into something.
I do need to find other stuff like Lego because that did so well.
Duo blocks.
Mega block.
Connect. What about that? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Got some of that upstairs. You were thinking about putting aluminium swarf in, weren't you?
I am. I've got some. Yeah.
Nice.
I got a feeling it's the aluminium that's killed my lathe.
Oh yes. What happened to it?
Oh
What's the lowdown on that?
So I was turning lace bobbins as I normally do on Thursday, no problem whatsoever. I turned the lathe off, went and sharpened my gouge on my new sharpener that I got for my birthday, turned the lathe back on, and it blew the fuse. Not the onboard fuse, but the main building fuse where I've redone the electrics, the RCD. So I reset, and I thought it might have been the sharpener slowing down and the lathe being on at the same time. I thought, well, they're not powerful. That shouldn't have blown a 32 amp fuse. So I reset it. Say again?
Put a bigger fuse in, problem solved.
It was still
Till he blows across the lounge or the shop.
So I went back because the fuse box is up one end of the workshop, and now it's a longer workshop. It's all the way down the other end. Got there. I can't just turn around. Will's fuse box is like in arm's reach of his leg.
I could turn and reset the box at the same time.
I have to get the bus to mine.
But I turned it back on, went back down, turned the lathe back on, off they all went again.
Oh no.
And you instantly think, because it's a digital lathe, so it's got the onboard electrics with the screen, digital reverse, you can different spit, all the rest of that jazz. So I pulled the cover off. I thought, well, it's going to be, there's a capacitor cooked on the fuse board, or there's an onboard fuse that's doing the damage. There was no obvious signs on the electrics. I phoned Record Power and they went, what is it? And I went, it's a 2005. So 20 years old, and they just laughed and went, I think you're out of warranty. I know I'm out of warranty. I could do with some advice.
Yeah.
They said, well, get it to us and we can have a look at it. And that's heavy because you think it's the motor and the digital control.
Oh, you can't just take the digital control out then.
But I can't, it's all well and good, but at the time I didn't know what it was. So I've got a mate who does aircraft electronic repairs. So I thought, well, if he'll be able to repair the electrics. So I got onto him and he said, disconnect the motor and that will determine whether it's the electrics or the motor itself. So I disconnected the motor from the electric. You have to pull it all apart to get to the cables, but pulled the two apart, switched the electrics back on without the motor and it's fine. So it's the motor itself that's causing the issue.
How much one of them?
Don't know. Record Power won't tell me.
They won't tell you one.
No, they want me to send the motor and the electrics to them and then they will put it all back together themselves. They won't just send me a motor.
And have they said how much?
No.
No.
They want to quote me. They want me to post it to them and then they'll quote me for the repair. And that will include an hour's inspection fee.
Just buy a new motor. And they'll be using standard motors.
They are a standard motor. But there's a company around the corner from me here in Southend that does motor repairs. So I'm going to drop the motor into them and get them to repair it. In the meantime, though, I can't be without that lathe because it's used every day. It's not like the big one, which is used occasionally. The little lathe is used for pretty much everything. Last week, before it packed up, I'd done 75 lace bobbins on that lathe, and I only did Tuesday, Wednesday, and half a day Thursday. That's how much it gets used. So I went on to Facebook Marketplace, as you do, because you can't afford 900 quid for a new Coronet Herald. It's just not happening. And I found this. We were on our way. We were going up to Nottingham on the Friday for a show, and I found this lathe in Ware, 200 quid, and it came with a box of cheap and nasty chisels. Cheap and nasty chisels and some carbide chisels. So we up the A10, grabbed this lathe that the bloke said he'd only used a couple of times but never got into turning, so he was just getting rid of it. And the lathe you can buy from Rutland's and Jet and Draper and Axminster, it's all the same lathe, it's just got a different colour and different brand. I got that one, 200 quid. Set it all up this morning knowing full well I had to do a day's work. And I've built the workbench to accommodate the Record Power lathe where I'm standing. So it's at the correct height. And this is a Vivor branded lathe and it's too tall. I actually now have to grab the step to stand on because the lathe's about 3 inches taller and it was uncomfortably tall to use.
Oh, really?
So I've got a step that I'm now just temporarily so I can use this. And when you look at places like Rutland's and Jet and places like that do these hobbyist lathes, they say that the lathe is recommended use of 1 hour to 2 hours a day. Well, I used it 6 hours continuously. So I can't use it for the rest of the week, according to the website, because I'm just going to kill it. I'm going to murder it very quickly. But it's going to be, once I got the Record Power fixed, it's going to be the lathe that goes out to demos because I reckon it's a good 15 kilos lighter than the Record Power. But it's got variable speed. It's a quiet little lathe. For 200 quid, it's all right. Can't use it professionally, but it's all right. It's getting me out of a sticky situation until I can get the Record Power back up and running. But it's
not 3 lathes now then. 4. Oh, of course.
4. But one won't be permanently set up. When I get the Record Power back, this will just be put into storage until I need it. But
just need an extra pair of hands.
She's in there. She's in the other room. She can use it as well. But it's frustrating as a professional wood turner. The wood turning isn't earning me a huge amount of money. It's doing okay, but it's not. I can't retire on it. No. It's going to be one of those ones that I'm going till I'm 75, 80 years old. I'll still be turning. So I can't afford to lose and just go out and buy a brand new lathe, which I know will last me 10, 15, 20 years. I don't have the money because otherwise it's £900 to go and buy a Coronet Herald from Yandles or Greenfield Crafts or anywhere like that before delivery, because I'm sure they'll charge delivery on it as well. And I just can't do it. I haven't got the money. The money's not there. So hopefully a motor repair won't be too expensive, and they'll just go, oh, it was just a little bit of swarf or whatever gunk build up.
15 quid and it's sorted. Hopefully.
It has been such an awful beginning to 2025.
Talking about, you just mentioned Yandles there. Did you see?
I did.
See what they're doing?
I did. I got that press release. If we leave that conversation there, no one will know. So Yandles released midweek that they are expanding.
Into
massively.
A big multi-year plan to grow the business, which sounds exciting.
Even bigger, like coffee shops and all that as well as part of it, and
bigger wood storage, more wood.
They've got a planning permission, and they're about to start the first stage of it, and all this sort of stuff.
Parking for 100 vehicles and all sorts. Where places like Axminster are shutting back, they've closed 3 or 4 stores in the last couple of years. I think Axminster. Those are doing the opposite.
I thought that's what it was going to be. When I first started reading it, I thought it was going to be something about we're wrapping up. But no,
the only downside
on their website, look on the news articles, it's in there all about it.
I could imagine that Axminster and Yandles made a killing in lockdown, to be honest.
That's when they started closing shops, because the one in Kent, the Axminster in Kent, halved its size.
Really? Yeah.
Yandles is a long way away. You can't just go for an afternoon, for us anyway. But there was another wood company that popped up down in, I'm not sure if we mentioned it last time, down on what's that railway line between Bradwell and
Dungeness.
That's it. Dungeness down to
Romney Ivan Dymchurch.
Romney Ivan. They opened up for longer hours today. I think they're now open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
The Romney Marsh wood.
Yeah, I'm going to take a trip down there, possibly Saturday. Who's demonstrating at Sandon Saturday? Do you know?
Yep, Paul Howard.
Oh, in which case, I was going to go to Braintree and go and see the chap in Braintree, that NB Timbers.
What time are you going? I might come over then.
Do you want me to let you know when I leave?
You have to send me the postcode as well.
That's not a problem. So I was thinking of going to see him anyway, grab a coffee off of him, because I'm off on another Saturday. Not sure what's going on. And the boy, he's off skiing on Friday. So I've got no child either. So lovely.
Yeah. Might come over with you and have a look at that.
I'll let you know when I'm leaving. And I don't want a huge amount. I just need some bits and bobs. But fancy joining us, Gary, or are you going to go and watch Paul?
Is he cash only?
No, he
does take card. Very good.
No, thanks. I've got enough bloody. I've got too much wood, and I don't need to buy more wood. And I'm going to go and see Paul.
Want some thick boards is what I really want.
Oh, he's got a plan. Sounds very much like he's got a plan.
I've been buying more wood. I bought some bloody more down there Saturday. It was like, I was going to Rick. I don't need wood. And then they're just, him and Nick just like bully us buying wood. All right, how much you want for that? All right, 7 quid. All right, great big bit of eucalyptus like this. And I was going, come on then, where's my change? And I was going, hold on, I'll give you another 2 quid and then you give me a 5. I don't want coins. He's going, go, I ain't got no coins. I ain't got no 5s. I ain't got no 5s. All right then, let's do it another way. Tell me how much more wood can I have for £3? You can keep the tenner. Just have a look over there and see what you fancy. And then it's just like, how many bits can I get with picking up here? And is that right, Rick? Like, yeah, all right. Nice one. And then
when I go and do it,
I don't need it. I don't need all that wood.
When I go and demonstrate for them, I always they pay me early doors, and I just end up going to spend it in their shop. I think they do it deliberately.
I've literally got down by my deck where I've done my workshop or whatever. I emptied out where I was storing all my wood. I emptied it all out, and I didn't know where to put it because I was knocking my garage down. I put it under 2 massive tarpaulins, right, in 2 places. When I got my workshop sorted, one of them, I got it all out from under the tarpaulin because they was doing some other building stuff down there. The other one is still all under the tarpaulin. And it's literally about 3 foot high by about 5 foot long and 3 foot deep. That's all wood under there. I can't even remember what wood's under there. And it's like, I've got more wood.
Your outdoor wood storage is bigger than his workshop.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. So
I did see Will's
get a full day. I'm going to get it.
You're going to get it sorted.
Once I've got 1 full day.
Will does have a separate wood storage. If anyone's wondering, he's not confined to this tiny little garage and nowhere
goes the
to put
length
any
of the
work.
house, that does.
It's a big. His wood storage is almost bigger.
It probably is.
In terms of square footage, it probably is bigger than the workshop, but it's just a narrow passage, isn't it, down the side?
Couldn't get a lathe in there, though.
You always think in your wood store you're going to have what you need, right? And then it's always like, I need something like this. And then you think, how can I not have it? I've got to go and get some more.
I always buy anyway.
I've got this idea for a project. I've glued that one up the other day because we've got to do a piece of that's mango, oak, and sapele. Because we've got for the quarterly challenge at Chelmer Valley, we've got to do a tri-wing dish.
If we fancy doing it,
give it a go.
Might not be there that month. Don't even know when it. Wait, is that? Would that be
June?
Oh my days! Can you even imagine what's going to be going on in June? It's not forever away. Anyway,
I might have recovered from May by that stage. I'm absolutely terrified of May at the moment.
Why are you terrified of May?
I'm terrified of May. It's the other business's first event.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And the thing that's worrying me is no one turns up to buy anything.
What do you mean? What's being sold?
So it's what we call a suppliers fair. So it's all the lace making and crafty people turn up in one place. It's like a tool trade show, but for fabric.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So it's we're organising it, and it's the first one. It's at Peterborough's Leisure Centre, and we went there the other day on the way up to Nottingham. So we went to Ware, then we went to Peterborough, then we went to Nottingham to hand them some flyers and go, look, can you hand these out to people? Let's get some promotions going. And they were shut. So we've got to post them up there. But apart from that, May's going to be terrifying, but June should be fine. But no, that's in preparation for June, that cube.
Cool.
Should be good. I've demonstrated them at the club before. And we had the SK Crafts. That's what he demonstrated for the first part. Although I'm not sure why he stained it red.
It was a bit
out there, wasn't it?
It was a little bit.
Didn't really.
Very, very red. Very blood red as well.
Sorry, Steve, if you're listening. The wood stain was a good idea. He got that from the range, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
They do a series of inks, wasn't it? It's calligraphy inks.
That was it, well remembered.
So if you're looking for a cheap wood stain, because it was a good stain, it did stain the colour well. It did take. So if you're looking for a good stain, the range do a good range.
Nice.
It got quite confusing at some point because he said, I got it from the range, and he said it quite quickly. And then you got people going, what range is it then? Where's it from? And he's going out from the range. And then they're going, but what range of colours is it from? No, the range, for God's sake. Come on, you old farts.
I don't think his Norfolk accent helped at all there, did he? Because he's got a proper farmer's Norfolk accent. And a couple of the old boys.
I don't think everyone was familiar with the range chain of stores.
Those from Brentwood, those too lower class.
It was quite confusing. Yeah.
Anyway, shall we leave it there, chaps? It's been a good week.
We should.
We'll catch you all in a couple of weeks.
Yep, good talking to you.
Right, take care, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.